Hey guys, my name is Little Man Jose and welcome to another review. Today we're reviewing Castle Crashers. Now Castle Crashers is a game that I sorta grew up with. I beat it an ungodly amount of times as a kid, and I remember thinking that it was one of my favorite video games of all time. But it has been years since I touched this game. What do I think about it now? Well, let's find out. Let's be honest, this game's presentation is the reason why everybody wanted it when it came out. I was a Newgrounds kid back in the day, fellas. I loved everything from the Mario to this weird-ass American Psycho game that was kind of but still I remember it fondly as being a piece of history. Newgrounds is my and many other people's childhood, and this game goes for that same Newgrounds-like art style. I could instantly see just from looking that this game was inspired by Newgrounds. With the little characters, the edginess, the toilet humor that we all loved back in the day, and gore. Lots and lots of it. This game's art style is a massive love letter to everything that made Newgrounds, well, Newgrounds. The locations in this game are also awesome. They all vary in color and place, like a bright desert, a dark and green forest, a massive castle where the enemies are knights. The boss fight for this level is literally a knight who plays the piano to send out bombs to murder you, and they're holding lightsabers? Like, what? There is a part in this game where you go into a cornfield, and the boss is a giant corn, and when you hit him, he lets out popcorn that you can eat. You get abducted by an alien spaceship in the desert, break out a fucking alien delinquent, and you have to escape the ship before it self-destructs. You play volleyball with a bunch of Arabs. This game has so much diversity in everything you do and everywhere you go, and it's one of the best parts about it. I undoubtedly love the art style in this game. I find it to be one of the best looking 2D games of all time, just for its uniqueness compared to other 2D beat-em-ups. As for how that art style is used, well, this game has a sense of humor that it keeps for the entire game, meaning that if you don't find the first few jokes funny, yeah, you're not really gonna find the rest of this game funny either. Most of the jokes are gross toilet humor, like these animals shitting in the forest because they're terrified, or this disgusting cat that throws up hairballs and shit. There's literally an entire boss where it's a bat that shits on the floor, and when you kill it, it farts itself to death. Jesus Christ. I personally don't find this funny anymore. It gets really old really fast, and this game is also extremely edgy. The characters you play as have this angry look on their faces, and their icons in the character select screen are not only really great at portraying their powers, but goddamn is it edgy. Look at this shit. You literally massacre the enemies. You slam them on the floor, you cut off their heads, it's crazy. You fight your friends just so you can kiss a bitch like a G. Get it in, little Castle Crasher? And there are so many dead bodies everywhere you look. Look at this. This game has got to be one of the most edgiest games I've ever played, and it's one of the more endearing parts of the game. As for the toilet humor, I get that this shit is the essence of Newgrounds, and while I love that, I am also 17 now and find that these jokes are not really for me anymore. That's not to say this game doesn't make me chuckle sometimes. I love the little joke they made in the desert where an alien spaceship puts the top layer of the pyramid on, basically trying to make the joke that aliens made the pyramids. That was actually kind of funny, I'm not gonna lie. I will always appreciate this side of Castle Crashers, but I'm sad to say that I've grown out of that stage. This game still looks amazing though, despite the humor, so props to the creators. I get that making this shit is a gruesome task, and honestly, they have my respect. The soundtrack is also really good. It's not something I'll play out of game, but in game, this shit hits the spot. I love the music that plays in the first world. It sounds like you're in war. Also, the creepy music that plays every single time this wizard shows up gives you a sense of mystery while also making you fear him in a way, because you can tell he's really powerful. I love it. This song doesn't match with the scenery, but who cares? It's a fucking bop. This game's soundtrack is the bomb. So overall, yeah, I would say presentation is pretty great. The sense of humor is not really there for me, but the game still looks amazing with different locations, enemies, lighting. It's awesome. And the soundtrack is great for a beat 'em up, and even adds a little uniqueness by adding catchy beats that don't match up with the def on the screen at all. Makes the game a little quirky. The presentation is pretty goddamn great. The gameplay of Castle Crashers is a beat 'em up, in the same vein as Turtles in Time or Final Fight. It's 2D, you go right, and you kill any enemy that comes your path. These type of games are not really my thing, if I'm being honest. They're fun for a little bit, but anything past 30 minutes with these games can make them feel very repetitive. Thankfully, this game isn't like any other beat 'em up. You kill a lot of enemies, yeah, but they like to switch up the gameplay every few levels to make it feel fresh. Plus, the Castle Crushers themselves are not that bad in terms of usability. These guys are packing heat in their own little way. No, they're not just the same characters copy and pasted with different colors. They actually have their own form of magic, and when leveled up, it can be the craziest thing imaginable. The 4 Castle Crushers in this game goes as follows. We got Green, who uses poison. The more you level up your magic, the longer the range and the faster the recharge of magic. Plus, you get new moves such as this ball that's a little hard to hit, but when it does more damage than anything else in the game. I personally love Green. He's been my main ever since I was a kid. I fully leveled up this guy my whole life. We have Red, who weirdly enough uses lightning and not fire. The lightning is not bad or anything, but seeing as how you have to hold the lightning, it makes you a little more vulnerable. It also doesn't help that the depth perception in this game is fucking awful. You have no idea how many times I missed the goddamn lightning because the motherfucker wasn't in front of me. God damn it! In case you haven't noticed, Red is definitely my least favorite of the 4. Blue is amazing. He uses ice, and when you level this shit up, he undoubtedly becomes the most powerful character in terms of magic ability. Look at this. This ice jump freezes anyone who touches it, and it might be the most overpowered move in the whole game. My friend Alex was the Blue Knight for the whole game and only leveled up his magic just because of the insanity of this motherfucker's magic. He does a ridiculous amount of damage as you level him up. If you're a person who likes being a mage in video games, I highly recommend Blue. Orange is not bad, but he basically feels like a reskin of Green. Same kind of magic use, and it slowly hurts the enemies. For Green, it was poison, and for Orange, it burns them. So yeah, it's basically the same character. These characters are really fun to play as though, and as you keep getting stronger and stronger, you feel a bond with that specific character. Also, this game is without a doubt a multiplayer game. Playing this game by yourself is fun, don't get me wrong, but playing it with friends is some of the most fun I have ever had in a beat 'em up. This game is very team-based. You guys can do some crazy combos together, making the enemies go down much faster, and it's stupidly fun. And as you keep playing, you unlock more weapons that are better at some stats than others, like this stick that has a lot of agility but little strength, or this hammer that has a lot of strength but little agility. It all depends on your playstyle, and when you level up, you can choose what type of stat you want to level up, such as strength, magic, defense, or agility. My first few levels in the game are always strength and magic, and once those two are in the clear, defense is next. Now be warned, what I do isn't exactly the smartest, because me and my friend Alex got our asses handed to us a lot because these enemies could basically murder us in 5 fucking hits, especially the bitches that use magic like these assholes in the lava world. I hate these guys. This game can either be easy or hard depending on the stats that you increase, and I love that about this game. It makes you feel like your choices actually matter. And remember how I told you that the game changes up once every few levels? Well, let's talk about that. We have the first world, which helps you with the basics, showing you how to fight and use magic. The second world, the forest, is more of the same, but it has an awesome chase sequence where you have to ride away from this giant smiling monster. And at the end, you jump into the water and have to jump on rocks, alligators, or literal dead bodies just so you can move around faster. It's hilarious. The third world is a castle, which you break into using catapults. And once you get in, the princess gets taken away and you have to stay on top of their cart. Once you reach the desert, you literally get abducted by aliens and have to escape the spaceship. Then when you get out, you play volleyball with Arabs so you can get a map. Like, this game won't stop throwing new shit at you, and it makes for a fun experience that beat 'em ups don't really do. Plus, you have pets. Yes, literal pets that come with you on your adventure. They all do something unique, like this completely useless pet that lets you walk on water faster, which you only need for like 2 levels in the whole game. This thing is worthless. But there are some great ones, like this goat pet that knocks down enemies frequently. I'm talking every 10 seconds. I love this little shit. There is this pet that you can buy that increases your defense, making the harder levels a little bit easier. There's a bat that bites enemies' heads. These little guys are pretty useful in a lot of ways, and it's nice to mix and match every once in a while. You'll come to appreciate a lot of these pets, and I know I have. And there are other characters that you can play as you keep playing the game, like this white knight that uses arrows. He's kind of useless, but whatever. And you can play as enemies, like the beekeepers or the aliens. These are nice little rewards and add some more replayability, even if I don't like a lot of them. And in the remaster, which is the one I'm playing, you get to play as a pink knight and this purple knight. Both are nothing compared to the OG4, but pink is cute and purple looks gangster, so they got that at least. So far, this game seems like it's a pretty goddamn great game, huh? Well, now let's get to the cons. One of them being that the enemies have way too much health. In the beginning, it's perfectly fine, but holy shit, the more you play, the higher the health pool, and you end up fighting these enemies for way too long just to kill them. The amount of deaths that happened because of this was ungodly. Why won't you die already? This doesn't ruin the game, but holy shit, guys, I'd be lying if I said that it didn't at least affect the experience. It's one of the reasons why I say play this shit with friends, especially 3 or 4 people. That could really help you out. The enemy stats are a little higher, yes, but with more people, you guys can crush these fuckers like it's nothing, while also being a really fun multiplayer experience. I don't mind playing with only one friend, but Jesus, this game can be one of the hardest beat 'em ups because of that. You will definitely die a lot if you play by yourself or with one other person, I assure you. You will get better at the game, but I don't want to be slashing the same enemies for minutes. Even just a little less health would have made the game's pacing a little bit better. Because of the health pool, this game feels like it's 10 hours instead of 3 to 4. And the other thing I hate, the boss fights. Jesus Christ. I don't know who designed these guys, but every boss in this game is a fucking headache. A lot of them take way too long to beat because they have the most repetitive moves that stop you from finishing them faster. Like the Corn and the Ice King. These guys suck ass. The Corn just keeps going under and popping out for maybe 3 seconds before doing the same goddamn thing again. That's the whole boss fight. Not to mention that he has the stupidest health pool of any boss and it takes too long to kill him. And the fucking Ice King. Oh my god, the Ice King. He only uses 2 moves. One of them is teleporting and laughing at you. And the other is this move where he unleashes ice from the ceiling to fall on you. And the less health he has, the faster the ice. Are you joking? Also, depth perception. It is so hard to hit this guy because it won't stop teleporting everywhere. I hate this guy with a passion. And this paint boss. Who made this guy? His paintings deal way too much damage and it takes a century to kill them. This flying knight sends in hordes and hordes of enemies, big and small, to murder you. And it's one of the hardest bosses in the entire game. The catfish. Oh my god! He takes way too long to kill. He won't stop punching you and it's so hard to dodge it. I fucking hate this thing. Then there's some bosses that are just way too easy. Like the bat, Medusa, this fucking dragon. They take 1 minute and that's it. Off they go. Now there are some decent bosses in this game and some are actually really great. Like the first boss of the game. He's a hoot to fight against and his moves are not annoying to dodge. Plus he's a big target so it's not hard to hit him. I love this boss against the knight with the piano. Dodging his bombs are so much fun and he comes to you when he wants to fight so it's easy to get a few hits on him. The fight against the Cyclops is really easy but still fun. And the final boss. I love the final boss. I love his first phase where depending on what color you were, you had to use magic on him. Like if he had a blue shield, then blue needed to use his ice on him. Then he turns into fucking Jigglypuff for a few until you finally beat him. He ain't done yet, now he's a fucking spider. Beat his ass. Then Jigglypuff again. Oh, okay, well, that's pretty easy. Then he has a sword. What? This sword will decimate if it touches you. I love this boss. I really do. He is, without a doubt in my mind, the best boss in the whole game. Now, I did sort of mention it earlier, but the depth perception in this game is garbage, man. Jesus Christ. I can't tell you the amount of times I missed attacks because I wasn't properly aligned with the enemy. Bosses are the king when it comes to this problem. And magic attacks can be pretty frustrating when you keep missing them. Why can't I hit you? I would have definitely been way happier if this game had a bigger hitbox for the enemies. I don't want to have to keep looking at the shadows on the floor to beat the bosses or land a magic attack from a far distance. Overall, the gameplay of Castle Crashers is great and unique. It does things that other beat-em-ups don't do, and it adds a lot of replayability for this kind of genre. But I do think that the enemies having way too much health makes the game feel slower unless you're playing with 4 friends, which is not easy to come by unless you have a bunch of online friends. And the majority of the boss fights are either annoying or just way too easy. But god damn it, this game has so much charm and it's such a blast to play that I can't say that these flaws ruin the game. Even in single player, I was having fun despite the long time it took to kill enemies. Plus the fact that since you're alone, it's so much harder. Jesus Christ, someone save me! I'm getting gangbanged over here! Despite the gameplay's flaws, I still really enjoyed it. Castle Crashers is indeed a very perplexing game to me. I love and dislike this game in a lot of ways. The sense of humor is not funny to me. The enemies get way too much health in the later part of the game, and most of the bosses are a chore to fight. But this game still has so many amazing and special traits about it that make it different, and in some ways, better than other beat-em-ups. It always finds a way to be fresh as to not feel repetitive. The characters are all different in magic ability, and the stats that you choose to level up actually matter in the grand scheme of things, as it will change the difficulty of the game as a whole. Castle Crashers may not be an amazing game, it does have flaws that stop it from being so, but damn man, I enjoyed my time with Castle Crashers, and it's nice to know that it's still fun to play with friends and family. I give this childhood classic of mine a 4 out of 5. Pretty great game indeed. I will see you guys in the next review. Peace.